Hey, what's up, you marvelous peeps, and welcome to DC's Comics. I know the irony, I do. But this is actually DC's Marvel Comics, and we're glad that you've joined us. Or, we're glad you've joined us from our previous video on the states of our favorite universes. Which is exactly what this episode will focus on. Just a more in-depth look at the state of the Marvel Comics and Marvel Cinematic Universes. This is not an episode focused on Marvel in its entirety, because I'm sure you have other things to do.
Basically, you go a little bit like this. Oh, look at me, I'm Iron Man, and I'm just got hit over there. And look at me, I'm Captain America, and I got smashed over there like a little fly. He's just a kid, he can fall over. He's not even real. Guns aren't cool, so you can hop off the table. Bunch of losers, these guys.
Because this affinity of ours doesn't completely take over our lives. Not infinity, you guys are obsessed. So, let's dive in. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or this is quite literally your first foray into the MCU, I'm sure you'll find this content informative, and we'll show you where we're at and where we're heading. First, we begin by paging through those very comics that led to the successful live-action universe that we all so know and love. We are seeing the space of time between characters and storylines in the comics and live-action shrinking. Which is awesome when you consider how long these characters initially existed before we got to see these live action takes on them. No, not those. I definitely meant these.
Avengers! Assemble.
I mean, when you consider Endgame and the spectacle it was on screen, in cinemas, amongst the fandom and all that build-up. At a stage, those spectacles were limited to incredible drawings and speech bubbles on a page.
Assemble.
Yes, that was my drawing, so hit me up already, Marvel. I can do some freelance work for you. So, as I said, we'd begin by paging through those very comic book pages and take a look at all the ongoing Marvel comic runs. So, this took me a lot longer than expected as I couldn't just land on a number in my searches.
Ugh, that was disgusting.
So, I went through Marvel's page to siphon out what was and what is. Sounds like dialogue from a foreboding villain. So these are just to name a few, but I will link the page on Marvel's site. The boldly highlighted titles are their current runs, but there you will also see their extensive library of all their titles over the years. Also, I forgot, but titles like Conan, Planet of the Apes and Alien also have their own comics published by Marvel Comics, much like Star Wars. So while Kang and the High Evolutionary terrorize our favorite heroes over in the MCU, your favorite characters that are the core and cornerstone of Marvel Comics or the other MCU, the Marvel Comics universe, have some enthralling adventures and page-turners of their own. From Cap leading the charge to the Avengers Assemble event coming to an end soon, seeing a relaunch of the core Avengers series line. Then, swinging over to your favorite webhead Spider-Man leading his own comic, no, not that one, yep, that one, as well as his best friend Wade Wilson. And speaking of Spider-Man and X-Men crossovers, the Amazing Spider-Man is embroiled in a crossover with the X-Men in a comic titled Dark Web. While we are on the topic of super teams, and over to that super team I just mentioned, yeah, them too, I was getting there. But I was referring to the X-Men, who are too involved in another crossover, but this time with Captain Marvel. The heroes of the X-Men lead their own comic runs in Wolverine, Phoenix, Storm, Magneto, and his daughter leading her own series in Scarlet Witch. So, from stoic to quick-witted whips, through to the grit that the Punisher and Moon Knight bring. You are covered, but not by S.H.I.E.L.D. in this instance, but they too have their own comic run. Then, while we are hopping on over from Earth 616, which is where in the multiverse the MCU, the Marvel Comics universe, takes place, but it's also confirmed to be where the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, takes place.
And we've designated yours 616.
You with me? Yeah? That's not at all confusing. Though, I mean, Kamala Khan even disagrees with Kevin Feige on that notion.
As much as Kevin Feige can make us think that it's 616, it is 199999.
And rather stands on the side of Miguel O'Hara,
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
who plays Moon Knight 2. Multiverse. Going forward, I will refer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the MCU, and I will refer to the Marvel Comics Universe as that, despite them having the exact same abbreviations, so as not to confuse you, or myself any further. But amidst all this confusion, I'll take it either way, especially when you think of how great it was seeing all three live-action Spider-Men in the same film. With me holding out hope that they all find their way into the Spider-Verse too. Across the Spider-Verse, I just want them in that film. It's already so awesome to see our heroes on screen, but even better to see them share the same worlds and share that screen, especially when we don't know about these surprises. I do wish they would work harder to preserve these secrets, like not releasing a pop of that character or using them in promotional material. But I do suppose that's the way merchandising works.
I am inevitable.
But it could really save that
Wow.
factor, you know. Speaking of wow, and seeing as he is now a part of the MCU in said live action universe, let's get into that. With Owen Wilson in talks of reprising his role as Mobius in Deadpool 3. An outing I for one can quite simply not wait for more news on. We will before that see him again in Loki Season 2 later this year, the only MCU show to have snagged a renewal, and maybe leave some breadcrumbs that tie into Deadpool 3. The TVA is mentioned to have a large role in that film, and with Wade and his antics, that comes as no surprise though, as they are a time-handling organization.
For all time. Always.
We will though see Nick Fury before that. And no, that's not a dig at his eye patch / one eye thing. With Secret Invasion set for a June 21st release,
One last fight.
on the horizon we have the What If, Echo, Ironheart, and WandaVision spin-off Agatha Coven of Chaos series lined up. I don't mean what if they're happening, they all are. I meant Marvel's What If Season 2 is amongst that lineup. Speaking of great animated shows, we also have the upcoming X-Men 97, which is not connected to the MCU, but rather a continuation of the fan favorite 1992 show of the same name, and the soundtrack that plays through my head at every other moment. I love it. So a lot of these projects are without release dates, but Loki and Echo finally snagged a date. Must be nice. No, not with each other, but for their show's releases. As we also have the upcoming Marvel Zombies and Spider-Man Freshman Year on the animated front. But while it's quite some time before they stick a landing date, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will stick its landing on June 2nd. But back to the live action series front, and we have the upcoming Wonder Man, which will feature Yahya Abdul-Mateen, the guy who collects comic rolls like Infinity Stones.
What? Infinity Stones?
And the highly anticipated Daredevil Born Again series. Who could have seen that coming? I didn't mean it like that.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, we got Charlie Cox back as the Man Without Fear, and he wasted no time in landing his own series while at it. As well as the untitled Wakanda series on the cards. Speaking of series through to film, much like Armor Wars did in moving from a series to a movie, and from series to film, Marvel has us covered on that front too, with some great ones lined up. We have just come off Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which culminated their trilogy, and now turns our attention to their next releases this year, in The Marvels, which will see Monica Rambeau, Spectrum, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, all teaming up. The future holds even more action and spectacle for us. From Captain America 4, A New World Order, which is set to receive a title change, to Blade. From the immoral Thunderbolts to their polar opposites, the Avengers, who have 2 films coming up, in Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. As well as the middle ground between those 2 teams in Deadpool 3, through to Wade's best friend Spidey in his 4th film, and the return of Shang-Chi. We are spoiled for choice with content that covers all the bases. Yes, the Avengers one too, through to covering the covers of the comics our heroes stem from. So this was just a general overview of the state of the Marvel universes, from Earth 616 to Earth 199999, or whatever you deem them to be. I don't aim to make you decide on the universe designations. My only designs are on exploring the multiverse with you, and making far less trouble of it than Doctor Strange and Spidey did in recent times. Until next time, just keep checking your left for notifications of future episodes.
Left. Come on!
Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content and are looking forward to more.
And Hulk. Smash.
That like button. And leave some love and theories in the comments section, as well as what you guys are enjoying, want more of, or areas you think that we can do better. And as always, this is the May. Oh, wait, it's not. Well, it was when I started putting this together. So, what I should have said is, have a great day. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. This is the way.